Yeah, probably. Hello, everybody. I'm live. We've just gone live for the Globe Live end of tour finale. I'll show you around a little bit.
Switch to whatever's in reserve. So to do the job, and that's that. So
Going live now.
I will hand the floor over to Roxanne in a second. Are you ready? All right. Thank you, Robin. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming, everybody. Today is the end of tour finale. We've done 8 weeks, almost 50 locations all across the UK, and started a massive wave of awareness by getting people to question what they've been taught. We've gone out onto the streets and towns of the UK, multiple people joining the tour across the 8 weeks, people coming out as individuals, having conversations in public, all across places like Stoke-on-Trent, Doncaster, Dublin, Ireland, the southwest of England. And I think it's safe to say that we've got to the end of this tour now, and we've positively started a massive wave of conversation. Your physical presence coming out onto the tour. We really wanted to try and find a way to celebrate with you all, celebrate the fact that the task has been done. I think it's safe to say that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and you might not agree on everything, but there's one thing we do agree on, is that we're not living where we've been taught living. We're all on our pursuit of truth, trying to find out the narrative of what that actually is. And I think this is going part and parcel into making the conversation socially accepted. So with no further ado, I'm going to kick off the event, and we're going to throw it over to Dave and Anna. That's all right.
I actually wrote something down. I thought there might be a flint or something that I could hold it. It's a light.
I think we do. Maybe a bit more light, maybe not so dark.
But I won't belabor. I know that people are kind of screaming and large screaming. So say hello.
Cool.
I'm Dave. And hello, Flat Earth. Hello.
The only way is up. Unless you still believe in gravity, then every way is up. But yeah, I was asked to say a few words for some reason, and I came here today to tell you, my friends, that this is not about flat Earth, but it's about you and each of us and the totality of humanity and the truth of who we are and why we are here and what our true destiny and purpose is. I don't expect you to believe in me or believe in what I said. In fact, if you listen to Harry and Jason and some of the others who've been out on tour, we're actually encouraging an age of disbelief. You know? Don't believe what we're telling you. We're asking you to go and research the ideas, the concepts, and the craziness that sits behind some of the things that support this rock in space. So, we are encouraging disbelief in things like Santa, Satan, and NASA, to name 3. I've reminded myself to insert a SpaceX reference to appease to the Generation Xers who have not yet all bought in the belief that an unadulterated Tesla Roadster is floating on Rainbow Road on Mario Kart up in space. Not all of the youngsters have been so badly brainwashed that they can believe such nonsense to be true. But it is true that we live in a time when you could send a regular car into the vast vacuum of space and, well, that car will just get on about fine. So no, I'm strongly advocating a healthy disbelief and skepticism in all that you hear and all that you have heard from us, but more importantly, from all of the institutions and organizations of education that you've encountered so far. I know this might be a little bit painful. But I hear you say, I'm the most skeptical man alive. And if that's true, you should be skeptical of that very claim itself. You see, it's the belief that some time ago, let's just say 4 billion years ago, a rock hits another rock and it starts to spin, and then some slime arrives from outer space. That slime lands on a very lucky part of the rock. And then a few billion years pass and that slime turns into a fish. The fish turns into a sort of being creature that can leave the water and becomes a rabbit. That rabbit, dear friends, is a relative of yours, apparently. But before the rabbit became your relative, the rabbit became a monkey. Then an African, and then here we are at the pinnacle of all civilization and human evolution. And this, my friends, I used to believe for a very long time indeed. The consequence of thinking like that is that we think that we are these evolved beings that come from some sort of feral background, and all we've ever been used to is conquest and slaughter. And all we're good at is being dogs of war. We think that we're a man so greedy that we would surround ourselves in opulence and continue for others to add to their load, to their burden. This is the kind of mankind that we become. And I was kind of brought along with that, you know. At the age of 13, I told my preacher that the Bible was rubbish, that the Bible said that the earth was flat, and my science teacher said that the earth was a spinning ball. he had the bucket and string trick, and eventually I bought into that much more than I was into the musty Bible. At the age of 19, my country had propagandized me such that I thought that the Russians, through their Cold War pals, Fidel Castro and the Angolans, were about to maraud into my homeland of South Africa. And on that basis, I, along with all the other boys in my country, was forced to go to national service and war, in my case. So when I was spat out of that experience, I kind of thought that the Cold War was going to come to an end, that the world that we lived in was going to become a better and better place eventually. You know? But the truth is, when you look at the collective, the human journey has possibly never been more confused. Our society is never more riven with divisions, with labels and titles and income strata, religious beliefs, national borders that people 100 years ago would have sniggered at. And for most of my adult life, I just kind of went along with this system. I worked for the local government here in London, and got to the point in my early 40s that I thought, well, this is it, this is how the world is going to be. We're going to continue to have conflict. We're going to continue to see rising cancer rates, rising illnesses, obesity, depressions, off the scale. This is the world that we live in, and there wasn't much that I could do about it. Then my mother went and died in 2011. And let me tell you, her death in 2011 was a catalyst that set me on a journey of discovery, trying to understand how come the medical industry, the insurance industry, and the authorities that are meant to keep an eye on you, make sure that these things looking, they start to break that cradle, or make sure that you're so dependent on them that you don't know how to fend for yourself anymore. My mother's death of motor neuron disease, an awful condition, brought in myself and my wife an opportunity to really search inside of ourselves, to care for her in her dying days, to search inside of ourselves for that hero that each of us carries. Now mine had been a long time a slumber. Mine had been told by a million different memes of our society that I just needed to fit into the boxes that had been set out in front of me. I had to choose between this version of religion that I'd been given all the way through, or another kind of religion, a science that said that actually we're not that important. We're not special at all. And I have to confess that I was one of the strongest atheists that I knew. I was very strong in my atheistic view. My dying mother, my last argument with my dying mother was over religion. Wanting me to take a religion, take a faith, believe in something higher than this materialist, dog-eat-dog, Darwinian, atomic world that we think is the height of all civilization. And I was there. I was still there in 2011. And then a series of things happened that started to unravel my sense of, or my version of reality, the one that I've been given by all of the newspapers that we read, all of the TV channels that you're provided for by your government. And in this journey, I had an experience with my third eye, your pineal gland. If anyone hasn't learned about this, I encourage very much for you to learn about this. I published a book about my military experience 5 years ago. And at that point, I thought I was pretty smart. 100,000 words in this book, published by a French military publisher. At one point, it was the best-selling historical book at the Angolan Library. And that's not saying a whole lot. But it, you know, as a touchstone, it was like I thought I had learned so much at that point. And then I had this experience with a higher consciousness that in the space of 5 minutes, this experience I had was like a near-death experience. We call it DMT or dimethyltryptamine that your brain creates. I had this experience that shattered the illusion that we are but material animals barely evolved out of the caves. It shattered that in the space of 5 minutes, and I came back with all my atheism destroyed, taken away, and a belief in some higher, or a knowledge, or a connection to something higher, something that we are all connected to. I was absolutely overawed with the love that suffused me during this 5-minute experience. And I came away from that 3.5 years ago, absolutely certain that you and I are of the higher creator, or of the higher power, or of some greater source. Call it Allah, call it God, call it Mother Nature. But we are of that. And then guess what? Just weeks after discovering that I am part of everything, I discovered that even the construct of the world that I live on had to be brought into question. Because just a few weeks after discovering that I am part of all of everything, I started watching videos on YouTube that suggested that Earth wasn't a spinning ball. Now, as I said, as a child, I'd seen the flat Earth references in the Bible. That was my first go-to. It was like, oh my gosh, yeah, what the Bible says. So I went off and spent a year absolutely, totally focused on understanding everything that I could about how this world could possibly work, or how the world that I thought it would work, because my children came up on light years and black holes, and quasars, all the things that had once upon a time been the preserve of the comic strip. Now, the reality that I was having to set aside and reevaluate everything that I could. So, like most people, I was a little bit upset about that I'd been lied to about everything. And it took me a while, and it took my wife a little while, to come to terms with the kind of guy that I've become. So insanely caught up in this search for truth. I realized that I was on something, there was something incredible happening, and we were part of something, or I was part of something incredible. But after about a year and a half of flat Earth sort of, truth and trying to establish the reality, I realized we weren't really going anywhere. I wasn't really going anywhere. And my wife and I had made choices to kind of clean up our act, and if we had another child, and do something to see my baby boy, 18-month-old baby boy, no birth certificate. And we decided we were going to just start again and see whatever came up. But as part of starting again, I realized that I had to go look inside of me. I revisited all the religious texts. I revisited all the New Age stuff. I revisited all the science stuff about who and what we are. My friends, I've come back with something incredible, something so amazing that has taken a 50-year-old man like me out of my slumber, off the sofa, cleaned up my act, got out of the system as much as I possibly can, learned to work with my hands. Through the grace of this great creation and my power within it, I have been able to bring myself to this point where I'm standing here talking to you about how wonderful this system, this creation is, how important it is that you know how wonderful and great that each of you are. I say to people out on the street, ultimately, it's like you are the Christ. Like the Christ potential is inside of you. You are the capstone of the pyramid that has been removed by a system of governance education, politics, medicine, banking, and insurance. These are the things that have been introduced to hold you away from the truth of who and what you really are. And so why I say that this is so important, why is it flat earth matters? Because until you realize, and it took my wife 2 years lying next to me of saying it matters, when she got it, she realized that her divinity, or her essence, or her inner power was far more capable now that she knew that the entire game, or the entire universe, was centered on her. And you, each of us. But your government and your power systems, through centuries, have removed that from you. Now, I am so grateful to be here today, to have been able to share with Harry and with Jason, and with all the other guys on the Go Tour, some incredible moments. Out in the field, talking to people, setting fires or starting fires. Because, Harry's one of the people in Authentically Tent. Well, these are the people that went out in the streets first, and I was like, this is where we need to go. And this is where, like, we would never have gotten out of on a Saturday afternoon to do a certain thing. Give up my time for something, or to stand in the street despite the abuse and the smirks and the funny laughs and what have you. Despite all of that, I'd be willing to stand there and say, my brothers and sisters, I'm here to offer you the opportunity to enable your own life, to discover your own inner life, and in so doing, empower your family, empower your neighborhood, and eventually empower our creation such that we become that higher vibration that most of us desire, that better humanity that most of us desire. Because we will not do it by trying to overturn this government in a week, a month, a year. You will not do it like that, because if you still need government, and if you still and the government still thinks they need you, it's because you have not learned to stand in your own truth yet. So I ask you, my friends, come to know yourself, because you truly are the apex, and you truly are the reason for this creation. Thank you very much.
And again, that's what this is all about, sharing that testimony, sharing our journey, where we've got with this and where we are now. Next up tonight, I want to introduce Robin Campbell, who is lifting the list. He's going to be giving you slideshow.
Yeah, so I'll explain in a second.
Yeah, so Robin Campbell.
Thank you. The switch. Thank you very much. So good evening, everyone. As Roxanne said, my name's Robin. I'm from Bristol. It's wonderful to see you here. I'm so glad that people made the trip from Birmingham, from Nottingham, probably further afield than that. So you may or may not know that this event was actually set up because we had a phone call from James, from The Guardian. And Richard and Alex are here tonight, so it's a pleasure to have you here, guys. But of course, when you have a conversation that starts with the press, you just want to sit them down and share how it is that you came to this place of being a flat earther. And what would you do, given my position here right now with a clicker and a presentation? Would you give them a few proofs?
Yeah.
Would it be a responsibility of any flat earther to lay it on a little thick?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
So with your permission, guys, we're going to lay it on thick. And so, sorry in advance, but no, in all seriousness, it'd be remiss of me, on behalf of the whole community, not to show you some facts and evidence that turns a rational person like me, family of 4, an IT consultant, my life's good enough as it is. I don't really need the rubbish that follows when you become a flat earther. But then you become a little braver and you join Harry on his mad quest to, you know, spread the message across the UK, and I don't mind anymore. So here we are. So just this presentation is just for your readership, and it's just for you guys to kind of know what it takes to change your mind, and maybe some of these facts will do some of those things today for you. So if I can kind of ask you to be honest with yourself and actually think these things through, I hope I sow a few seeds that help us along that way. So you may or may not know that Flat Earth has been trending for about 4 years. Most of us got into it at the back end of 2015 and 16, and suddenly the internet spiked. It's been steadily growing since then. And Martin Kenny, one of our own, appeared on GMTV just earlier this year. And the guys, Eamon Holmes, set out a poll for his viewers. How many people here believe the moon landings were a hoax? 41%. And I think the lady to his right was a little startled when she read the figures out. And to Martin Kenny's left was someone who was, I'm not sure if she represented NASA, but she certainly was a spokesperson for space travel. She didn't like it one bit. This is a quote from the Forbes magazine. Only 2/3 of Americans, millennials, believe the Earth is round. So that's a third of all people between 18 and 25 believe the Earth is flat. Quite significant, wouldn't you think? Here's a little clip now from a representative in YouTube, and I hope the sound system works.
With all these conspiracy theorists on the Earth.
So the first way is by promoting low quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of.
Your response is to put a box saying, no, the Earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
So ask yourself a question, guys. What's YouTube channel censoring silly flat Earth? Would it be slightly threatened by flat Earth, do you think? Possibly.
Yep.
Yeah. Probably. Okay, so for those that think NASA provide all these wonderful images and all the evidence for space and all the round objects that we see, let's rewind the clock and just play pretend. In 1952, how would you explain to your own children that the Earth is round? Let's have a few guesses from the audience. Anyone like? Sorry? Okay, the films. How about boats over the horizon, people? Might have been thrown up. Let's have a quick look now at what happens when you look for boats that appear to go over the horizon with your eyes. And then today, with Ranties in the audience, with a P1000.
Yeah.
I'll go back into view. And you can see it sitting on a bit of sort of miraging effect. There's some stuff going on at the horizon. But look, we can see the whole of that boat. And our eyesight sort of lost that way, way, way before that. So as we come back away from that image of the boat, we can see that about now is the point you probably lost it due to your perspective. So your eyes lose things due to perspective. Today, you might say, or back in 1952, you might be forgiven for thinking, well, if I can see something, maybe I can measure the curvature, and we can actually go out and measure and test how much curvature should I observe in a given distance. So let's choose a few landmarks near us, go and see what we can see, go and get the geometry of a ball, and then see if that curvature stacks up. Would that be a fair test? We could do that, couldn't we? We could all go out, observe something across maybe the water. So here's a good example. Chicago skyline, 52 miles away. An amateur photographer called Josh Nowicki took this shot 52 miles from the other side of the Hudson Bay. The Sears Tower is 1,700 feet tall. 1,800 feet of curvature should exist in this distance, guys. So how comes I can see all of the Sears Tower? Troubling, that one, isn't it? How about this one? The world record photography, record 275 miles away. This should have at least 3 miles of curvature, even when we factored the height of the observer. So again, this was an amateur photographer taking images. We can see too far. Starting to run out of proofs for telling my child the Earth is round. Maybe we could do another one. Let's go to Canigou in France, where we can see a mountain range 175 miles away, and there's the sunset going behind the mountain range. In this distance away, I've asked my good friend Journalism to punch in a few numbers for me, and he's just going to pop off to a website for me and plug them in. Thanks, Journalism. Good lads, Journalism. So here he is, plugging in the eye of the observer, a distance away, and there's the magic number, 12,000 feet of missing curvature. Is anyone struggling to see now? We can't have any proofs now. Without NASA, when we put NASA away, we're struggling. That's a wonderful shot there from the Canigou resort. PR piece. So how about some more geometry of a ball? If I'm a fly or a flea on a basketball and I rise above the surface of the basketball, should I not see the horizon drop below my eye line as I look out straight ahead of me? Yeah?
Yeah.
So the picture on the right shows a horizon that's not doing that. Picture, i.e. if the Earth is flat. Picture on the left shows what would happen if we were on a globe. So let's see what happens when we go up. Oh, it's not happening, is it? Mm-hmm. We're up at 110,000 feet at the top. 30,000 feet in the middle, down at sea level at the bottom. Where's this drop off of the horizon? Struggling here, aren't we? Still can't find any curvature. Okay, let's go for water. When we tip water out into a bucket, pond, these test tubes, we always find that the water finds its level. We know it has to be contained all the time, otherwise it just run off. So when we look at the ocean, can we assume that there's something contained in the ocean? Yes. Does water ever bend? No, not observably. So when we look at rivers that are like the Amazon or the Nile, over 1,000 miles long, we should be seeing hundreds of miles of curved water. Does anyone observe water going uphill? No. I'm struggling, guys. Where's the curvature? So let's move on to aeroplanes. The picture on the left, top left, is an image of an aeroplane setting off from the north, traveling around the ball, and the instrument in the top middle is the gyroscope with the artificial horizon. Bottom left is the gyroscope within that gizmo inside the cockpit of the plane. That should roll back if I go down the side of the ball. Would you agree? Yeah, so have a look at the data shown below on the bottom right. That's data from the flight tracking software that all the air traffic controllers use across the US, 2,400 miles wide. Can anyone tell me why all these flights seem to be going in a straight line when they hit their altitude? Why isn't this data bending? Can anyone see the problem?
Enlighten us.
Yeah, so now let's look at flights themselves. In the southern hemisphere, who would agree if we lived on a globe, we'd have to go from Santiago, Chile, this on the bottom right, across to Sydney. The shortest distance between 2 points should be underneath the ball. Yeah? So why, in today's modern long-haul flights, do they take this huge dogleg up to Singapore and Dubai? It's troubling me, this, because I know that commercial airlines wouldn't spend a penny more than they have to on fuel. So why is this happening? Oh, there it is. That's what these flights look like on a flat Earth map. Can anyone see the pattern that's evolving here? Okay, now let's think about what we're told about the Earth. It's spinning at the equator 1,000 miles an hour, and as we move up the globe, that speed reduces just because we're traveling less distance. So, as we go halfway up the ball, it's 792, and as we get to the North Pole, we're almost at 0, aren't we? So let's think about a plane that's trying to fly north to south. Some pretty complex geometry here and calculations to make sure I can strafe my jumbo jet on a east-west moving platform. I've got to be quite a clever boy to go east and west as well, haven't I? Because I've got to speed up when I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. Suddenly I need a Mach 2 plane to even arrive. When I'm going the other way, I'm going to get there in lightning speed, aren't I? Okay. So let's ask a pilot himself. What would a pilot say in his cockpit if I put a microphone in front of him? Let's have a listen.
Just a fellow keeping out, you know, in some most must be in the middle.
Anybody surprised when you saw that first time around? It's a bit of a big one, isn't it? A pilot actually admitting that it's flat. He's a guy, after all, that's up there at 30,000 feet for hours and hours and hours. I mean, come on. Harry said it so many times. Your drink would spill. All the air hostesses would be using grapple hooks to go from the north down to the south. It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? An aeroplane would have to be upside down in Australia. How mad is that? And yet, we don't even think about it as an adult, do we? We just take it on board that the pilots know best, that the maps must do it correctly. But how many pilots are actually going to stop and think about it? They carry $1 million to 3 million quid's worth of equipment, countless lives from A to B. Are they really going to stop and think? I will tell you that a pilot did blow the whistle for KLM, and she got grounded. All her superiors and all her peers told her, be quiet, you can't mention these things. And she got grounded. So that's what happens if you really go public. Okay, now let's think about the speed of the Earth and how these speeds are supposed to be all working. Apparently we're spinning 1,000 miles an hour around the equator. The Earth is moving around the sun 60-odd thousand miles an hour. And the sun itself is motoring through the galaxy and the universe 450,000 miles an hour. So that's fine. And I had 12 hours. Do I see this lovely concentric circle on the right every single night? Think about it, guys. If I'm moving at that breakneck speed, how am I going to see the same stars every night? Decade after decade after decade. On bottom left, that's Orion's belt over the peaks of the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Never move. Centuries after centuries after centuries. Are we really spinning all those speeds, breakneck speeds? Struggling to buy this one, guys. I really am. Okay, now let's look at NASA.
Well, this is Kowalski confirming visual contest.
Oh, sorry, wrong special effects department. Oh, this is NASA, sorry. Right, so, okay, so let's rewind the clock. 1974, Apollo 16 or 17, I think this one is 17, I think, came back from the moon. The guys had spent ages getting there. And you can see that that wonderful rock is clearly bright enough to light up our skies, 250,000 miles away. You can see the stars lighting up the night behind them. And you can see that this machinery is just perfectly made to get us 250,000 miles. Now then, let's just watch it take off. That's a bit awkward, isn't it, guys? It's a bit awkward. It's a bit awkward. First of all, why did they leave a cameraman on the moon? Because he obviously had the talent to pan up, capture the whole scene.
Okay, 30 seconds.
It's a bit awkward, isn't it, guys? If I was NASA's biggest, by the way, NASA got the biggest film department in the world and the biggest swimming pools, and they also buy the most helium on the planet. So when you think about satellites, guys, they do launch them on helium. There we go. That's the LEM. When I was in Bristol with Ruben, and Harry, Jason, and John, and Charlotte, and Dave, and Artie, and the guys, I asked 4 mothers that day. I showed them a picture of this, and I said, "Would you put your child in this? Would you plunge this underwater?" Yeah, I know. I'd be the same. Would you plunge this underwater with your children inside it? Every single woman said no. I wonder why. It does look a bit like some homework back in the science class, doesn't it? Right, now let's move to these culprits. You've just done the biggest event in human history. You're absolutely elated. And you can't wait to share your excitement with your population. They're going to give you a ticker tape parade. Not an ounce of guilt on that picture, is there, guys? No, looking a bit shifty, aren't they? Looking a bit, oh, I'm not sure if I can pull this one off. How many of these guys resorted to alcohol at this moment? How many of these guys were confronted with microphones by Bart Brown and got really angry? You can see why, can't you? By the way, for your viewers, chaps, you must watch A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. You watch that film, you'll never think NASA are genuine again. Oh, and here's another one. These guys were the Challenger 7 who apparently died, and we all cried and mourned for them, and yet they all seem to be alive. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them appear to be alive. And what's really interesting is a lot of them didn't even change their names. How lazy is that? Were they being careless? Were they being arrogant? Or they just didn't think that the hive mind of the internet would pick this up sometime later? Doesn't really matter now, because it's plain to see they've been lying. Okay, here's another one. This is a space shuttle in the 80s, before we had CGI, and a very kind gentleman decided that he might want to appear in this footage to, I don't know, maybe he just wanted a bit of limelight. Have a look, see what you think. Oh, there he is. Bit embarrassing, really, isn't it? Yeah. So he's playing. I'll tell you what he was saying. He was playing peekaboo with his kids because he knew they were all watching. Oh. Hilarious, isn't it? So I've named this slide Night of the Medusa. Now, the women in NASA seem to have a penchant for hairspray, and some pretty wacky styles came out. But what's pretty annoying is when you watch these ladies in the videos, the hair doesn't move. And if it does, it moves in a very peculiar way. And if you look at the lady top left, I'm not sure she'd get sign off from Health and Safety, would you? So here's another clip. For those that haven't watched this, James, Alex, Richard, have a look at the guy in the right with his right arm. He's going to grab a cable with the gentleman on his left. Sorry. Oh, can you see what he's doing there? This is on the ISS where there's weightlessness and zero G. Or cables. You make your mind up. Bit embarrassing for NASA again. Here's another fine example of how zero G makes floating around really easy. I wonder what people consider might be wrong in this picture. What a great piece of trapeze act, an artist, don't you think? They always use something on the right to just make it look like it's zero G, but if you've watched any VR technology walkthroughs, you can see they're constantly spinning things in their hand. And as you can see with this gentleman here, he's looking at a monitor with his contacts on, supposed to be moving something from A to B, but oops, CGI and the VR guys forgot to insert whatever it was into the picture. Pants down, NASA, you failed. Here's another guy we love to quote out on the street. His name is Robert Simon. How many times have I did it? His name is Robert Simon, and he's a graphic visualizer for NASA. You heard me say 1953 earlier, where we're talking about NASA without the images. Now, this is the veracity of those images, guys. Pay attention, because Robert Simmons, one of the graphic artists, who went on a radio show and said, yes, I make these images up. I stitch them together from vertical strips of data, allegedly from satellites. And he says, I have to. Now, why would he say I have to? Would it be because he can't get far enough away to create them? Anyway, they walk you through how they stitch them together, and then they show the clone tool being used for clouds. Let's have a look at those. Oops, I can't see them. It's this one. Let's look at the clouds. Pasted on with copy and paste. And again, you'd ask yourself, I'd let you off once, but I'm not sure I'd let you off twice, 3 times, 4 times, 8 times. Guys, there have been 8 blue marble shots. If you pay close attention, you'll see the countries are all different sizes, the oceans are different colours, clouds, some of them seem to miraculously appear on other images as well. I've got trouble with this, guys, because NASA is supposed to have been there, 6 times. We don't seem to have any proper footage of space. Can you see my trouble now I've got with the globe? Here's another great example of how Italy seems to be pretty much the northern hemisphere. Now, to pick it apart, there's plenty of examples like this. But again, for your readership, guys, this is one such shocking example. Now, you may have seen Buzz Aldrin recently being asked by a child, why haven't we been up to the moon since we went last time? It's over 40 years now. Why don't we ask a NASA rep today? See what he says. This is Dom Pettit.
Be through the line. Please be through the line. Take a listen. I go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroy that technology and it's a big process to do it now.
Oh, did anyone hear the record scratch? Hold on, did you say we can't go back? We destroy the technology? Hands up, anyone who knows a technology that's gone backwards in the last 50 years? Wonder why this chap's saying it then. Is it because we never went and can't go back? Possibly. When we asked the guys for the telemetry data as well, that seems to have vanished as well. All the data for the moon landing's gone. That's convenient. And when I was asked right at the beginning of my flat Earth journey, one of my go-tos was this crew. What about Felix Baumgarten's Red Bull jump? He showed this great big curved Earth, and that was my evidence in my head. I'll go and have a look at this. But take note, guys, the horizon inside the capsule looking out is flat, whereas on the right, suddenly I think New Mexico has become the northern hemisphere. Do you see my trouble? It's a GoPro lens. Now, I'm really, really struggling now to think of any proof of a globe. Let's go back in time and see if we can find out what might have happened. This gentleman was Sir Admiral Byrd, and in 1952, I think, he came back from a 30-year expedition sponsored by the US military to explore the Antarctic. He went beyond the South Pole, and he came on a TV show and told the world, I found land the size of America, full of coal, uranium, and oil, and the world is going to be scrambling over it. All the nations and all the big corporates. You'd expect that would happen pretty soon after, wouldn't you? However, Operation Fishbowl saw America and Russia fire atomic bombs into the Earth's outer atmosphere for 2 solid years. Why would they do that? Well, Antarctic Treaty was signed after Sir Admiral Byrd came back and told of this new land, and you might think that's harmless. But what does that treaty say? It actually says no country or actor, and that would be a corporation too, can venture beyond the South Pole without a business plan, a planning permission signed off by all the nations, all the signatories, and a $2 million license fee. Can anyone sort of see the Truman Show? Like, I'm trying to get to the edge of my world. Can anyone sort of sense that? The barriers are going up. It's getting hard to get to the edge. Funny that, isn't it? The UN flag, which formed and signed this treaty, is exactly a flat Earth map. Oh, Antarctica is closed as well now, so we can't go anywhere to my east and west and south. We can't venture there. This is one of the best videos on YouTube that goes into the entire Antarctic Treaty and goes into those points I've just raised. You might think, why would NASA go to all these? Why would the government and NASA go to all these lengths to cover this up? Well, how about $19 billion a year, which works out $53 million a day, to give us the blue marble shots, cartoons, jokers in space with harnesses who love to pretend that they're floating in midair and give us a blue marble shot and fake it. Why would they do that? I think it was quite a short board meeting, actually, because if they did confess, there'd be a whole world of trouble for them, wouldn't they? Because if we have a perimeter somewhere or some kind of different land that no one's heard of, if we have an outer limit above us, then we have to admit that we're in a designed space. So if we were the #1 authority, and suddenly we have to admit that there's a designer, we've lost a lot of power, haven't we? We've lost a lot of control. So why not kick the can down the road, create NASA, give us a blue marble shot, and just leave it till later? Also, I think there'll be turmoil. Imagine admitting that you got it wrong. Are you willing to let the universe crumble? Stop. Are you willing to see riots possibly on the street? Because you're going to have to fess up to being wrong. Are you willing to see the power struggle between science and religion? Because there's going to be a bit of a kick-off, isn't there? Science has got to take a back step, and religion will probably say, we told you so. Not a pretty sight, is it? So I think that's quite a short board meeting. I've now come to the end of my presentation. I've tried to keep it short and sweet because everyone in this room, except your good selves, gentlemen, has probably seen this enough times, and we're kind of already at this point. So I hope everyone here forgives me for doing it, but I think it would be remiss of me not to share it with your readers. So let's move on. I'm going to now switch gears, and I'm going to start playing you some highlights from the talk. It's just a short reel, and after that, we'll ask Harry and the team to recall some of their best parts of the talk. So hopefully this works.
learn something, and that's that useful that 68 years their life. And we see demoralizing, it's so significant.
So you think we are the only thing? Yes.
So you are a fool, and you're going to yourself. You're a fool. You're going to admit it. You're a fool. You're an idiot. I'm sorry, I don't want to see it.
This is the intro for NASA, and I've been to NASA, and I've gone back with NASA, so technically it's a lot to be in there, but the more I move into it at the time, I don't have anything to say.
So slow triangle, so those two people that come through there. So much comes down here for the work you can get. Great learning. I don't think that's why you get funny. And that's an interesting one. I program response for that. But again, the result for the run is a factor. We are my mind, and my ears, my eyes, all my consistency, my consistency. Some swallowing around, swallowing, what's that in Antarctic? To the forest. Yeah. Also meant to do this, although the fact that it's coming out.
To celebrate this 8 weeks of nations and a massive wave rises inside the council. As you already know, streets are presented. The might be able to send streets in Africa and streets.
Right, we've come to the time in the evening where we're going to have a little piece from Harry. We're going to hear Harry's perspective and points of view about how the last 8 weeks have been. Harry's been on that tour bus from the 13th of September, right guys? The 13th or 15th? 13th. Every day he's been on that camper van. The camper van's gone through breakdowns, weight issues, suspension issues. Was there a leak issue at some point? But relentlessly, he stuck it out. I would have got cabin fever halfway through, but I'm telling you, Harry, you've blown me away with how you've handled this. I was only there for 4 days and still feel like I'm debriefing now, a week or so later. So I'd like to hand it over to Harry and let Harry give you a synopsis of how he's found the last 8 weeks.
Well, I'm not accustomed to speaking in public with this. I'm more than one-to-one on the streets. I just wanted to share my experience from inside time, which was amazing, a life-changing experience for me.
Yes, Tara. Yeah, you can wonder.
You could beat him up.
This way, Harry, that's it.
Yeah, so it's been like a life-changing experience for me. I'm 60 years old, and I confidently thought I'd seen it all, and nothing was going to affect me so much. But being on the tour for 52 days, it really did affect me. The kindness and generosity of the people that I've never met before, coming up wanting to donate, saying how much they've been following the tour, and how much it affected them. I was quite emotional on a number of occasions. I know everybody else who came on the tour bus with me, the whole team, they also felt that. Generosity, they were strangers to me before, but now I get to know everybody so well. It was really a moving experience, and one I'd happily do again, because the generosity of people has been wonderful. I was losing faith in humanity before that, but that all turned around by the amazing people we met. And this tour couldn't have happened unless it was for the people donating the hard-earned money. This is what has made it work. Working with a fantastic group of team who all did their bit, and without any one of them, this wouldn't have been completed. So, I've suffered emotions from a few lows to incredibly long periods of highs. And I think I've gone from anger to elation, and I honestly never felt tired until 2 weeks ago, because I think I was travelling on the positivity and love that's been shown by everybody involved in this tour. And I really do think it's people's tour, because people felt part of it, and so many people were contributing towards the tour that we felt closer to everybody, to communications, to meeting on the street. And people come up I've never met before and say, I don't know anybody else in this town. And then standing next to them, somebody else would say that, and the third one. I say, well, there you are, this is your first group meeting. That's not happened in Leicester. And if you could do that again next week, that's a new group starting up. But I think it showed people that this is not a one-man band. People are coming together, and it's great to see everybody here, because it really is people's tour. And I've always been about inclusiveness, a collective, not divisional behaviour, and we should all come together and respect each other's differences. Because any grassroots movement always starts small and it grows, but it won't grow if there's division and disrespect for other people's differences. But I don't want to stand up here all day long. I just wanted to say that I'm so proud to be working with people I'm working with. I think as a team, it's a very hard thing to do at short notice, but we achieved it. And everybody in this room being to come today, thank you so much. My voice is going because we haven't spoken yesterday. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you for all the support. It's been absolutely amazing trip. So thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
You've inspired a lot of us, Harry, to get out onto the road. So thank you for inspiring us as well. Lots to be said for the mileage you put out there on the streets, and I just want to give another round of applause because there's no leaders in this. It's individuals.
Thank you.
It's not just Harry, Jason as well. These two guys had the time in the first place to go out onto the streets. And they were supposed to be there together, and for one reason or another, Jason was withheld from being there for the whole time. But the boys were supposed to be on that tour with us for the entire duration. And Jason, you got back on that tour as quick as you possibly could. That I highly commend you, and I wonder if you come up as well and say a few words.
Yeah, it's been a difficult journey for myself. I first met Harry. I want a little bit of a backstory. I first met Harry, like most of you, was on the screen. So watching Harry do his stuff, I was really inspired. I felt as though I need to get out and do something myself. We went and did the Eastbourne activism, and there was about 30 of us. We all got out there. But I kind of walked around like that, listening to everybody and watching, and I couldn't get involved. It was too scary for me, not enough confidence. But then Harry brought us out on another activism, and with Scott, Plane Ranger. When we did that activism, kind of first time I got stuck in, it was my cherry. So I got on there, and it was exciting. It was really exciting. I did this for the first time with Harry, but I was did with Harry and Scott. I felt as though that I had to do my own banner, my own activism by myself with no help. That's when I started the banner there. And the banner was, we've done an awful lot of activism up and down the country. This is before the tour. A group of us have got together. About 20 of us. We did Leicester Square, we've done Sheffield, Birmingham, and Bristol, Liverpool. We've done some fantastic days activisms. And then it was, what do we do next? How can we step this up? We want to shout the loudest. So we were going to do a yacht trip. We were going to hit all the ports all around the UK, and we were going to shout the loudest that way. But for one thing or another, that didn't come off. I always felt as though something was always holding us back, and we wanted to make a UK tour and shout the loudest. So in the end, when I heard that Harry was doing this, he had decided to do this trip around the UK. So 2 months left of leave from work, and we thought between myself, Roxanne, Robin, and Chris UK, there he is, yeah, and Chris, we got together and we talked about it. And we come up with this crazy idea of, could we get a camper van, for Harry to go around. But within the conversations, it was almost like can I go on this tour? Can I go along there with them? And that, I didn't have much money at the time. Money was a very big issue. So I sold my bike, put some money in the tour and said, Harry, I'm coming with you. I didn't ask him, I just said, I'm coming with you. And then off we went. It was, we've had some lows, we've had some highs. We wanted to shout the loudest. That was the plan. It was just to make noise, shout the loudest, get some awareness out there. And then we had this unexpected side effect, was meeting like-minded people along the tour. That was really unexpected. Lots of other people came out to support us and started giving us cash and putting us cash in our hands, and you know, like, it was yeah, very humbling it was. We've had some amazing help from from Adam, from Adam Meekin. We've had people's names. I'm stuck on people's names because I'm stood up here.
Excuse me, that's why I wasn't thinking.
Yeah, that's right. Oh God, I should have written a whole list out of people's names. We've had some amazing help. It's been a journey of a lifetime, but I feel so it's uncompleted. For myself, I'm in of two minds. I could do with another 2 or 3 weeks to finish this tour off because I had to leave the tour for 2 or 3 weeks. We think that there has to be a UK tour number 2. We have to move this forward. It can't just be this stops here now. We've started this awareness off. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready for the next GoFundMe, maybe. Yes, a double-decker bus. I think that's been the plan. That's what we've been thinking about. So thank you very much for those who've helped us and supported us. And yeah, we've met some amazing people, and maybe we can get together again and do this again. Thank you.
So Robin just let me know that we were on a bit of a tight time schedule before, but we're now able to overrun, so we're able to relax a little bit. So we're not under the time constraints that we were when we walked in the door, which is lovely. This next bit we're going to do just now kind of encapsulates the tour again, including everybody that's been involved on the tour. So at this point, I'd reach out to anyone that's in the audience that's been involved in the tour and to come up and put your 2 cents worth in and that move in. Marilyn over there, Adam Meekin, shadily in the background there, head down. I don't know if anyone wants to come up, but I'd want to encourage you all to come up and put your 2 cents worth in. Marilyn's on her way up. Ruben, do you want to come up and say something?
Can you come forward?
Yeah. And I think really it's just this is again just showing it's individuals. There's no leader, there's no hierarchy in this. It's just a collaborative of individuals that come together on the common cause and making it socially accepted. So on that note, I'll hand it over to you guys. Yeah, you guys are taking it upon yourselves to go to the tour and take yourself to the tour and be an active part of it. How did you find it?
Well, number one, I've got to say, Roxanne, you've done marvellous. And all of you, well, you mainly, for organising and letting everyone know. You took the time out on YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a newcomer in, as far as I was concerned, but I've got to say, until I went on the Flat Earth camp out, which found out more about it, and I felt the same as you guys. Needed it to be, set out there, but because of my lack of education in the past, when I was a young girl growing up, and I realised at 8 years of age, and I asked the science teacher with the ball on the desk, she said, any questions? I said, Miss, she said, yes, Wisby. I said, where's all the water go? She said, go to the back of the class. She said, don't ask me impertinent questions. So that got me, not knowing at that age, when I was up, I was there to ask a question and wasn't given a straight answer. So, but all I can say is that my experience at Bath and Bristol, I was glad that I stayed on, and as one said, you get to learn how to talk to these people and I did learn a lot for myself. So, and I have to say, hats off to both of all 4 people that was there, especially Harry and Jason, you know, the especially dealing with a lot of people that was asking questions, and I just happened to pass what I didn't know.
It was great though.
Robbie,
Appreciate it.
really Jason, we had a few, but they done ever so well at Bath, I have to say. Thank you.
Nice one, Marilyn.
Thanks,
Thank
Marilyn.
you.
Yeah.
This has not been the first time I've been involved with activism. I've been involved with activism now for over a year. You've done it every season out there. You've been to the Flat Earth Convention, right? You've been a pretty active member of the Flat Earth community through and through. What drew you out to the tour? How did you find it?
I was supporting the tour from the beginning, watching all the live footage, and I remember I've got the school run in the morning and the afternoon, and so none of the stops were near me apart from the London ones, obviously, and I was like, I'd love to go. And Cynthia, my partner, had some time off work, and she's always been supportive of this movement. She realizes how important it is. And then she just turned to me and goes, "Baby, do you want to just go up to Leicester?" And in my head, I was like, "Oh, I said it before, but I said it again. And I was like, "Let's do this." And literally just tanked up the car and went up to Leicester, and it was amazing. It was incredible, you know, to see other people there.
Paul was there as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there that came out from other places as well.
That was inspiring to see, like, there was more people. And it has snowballed into something huge. Like, this was a small thing that we were looking to do, and it's amazing how much support we've got from everyone across the plane. And again, it's the people's tour. This wouldn't have happened without the people helping. So
It sadly wouldn't have happened without his suggestion of the spa day. Without your suggestion of the spa day.
I didn't hear about no spa day.
Cynthia.
Oh, I know about this spa day.
Well, it wasn't actually public. It was a bit of a. I was like a little bit of a snitch, to be honest with you. I went, I'm not sure if this spa day work. Trying to dig the dirt, and then I came back to him like, bro.
Harry being as passionate and he understands the importance of this, and he was like, no time off, we're getting work. So that's what people thought of.
And it then turned into what it is now. It's like you said, it's bigger than us.
That's it.
And that's where we're at. Do you feel good about what the tour's done, where the tour's
Most
at?
definitely.
The amount of awareness, what have you seen as you've seen it?
I've seen, I think I told you guys before, he's come and gone now, but there's a gentleman called Tyrone that was here, and I knew him about 11 years ago, and he messaged a mutual friend of ours with a screenshot of me with Harry and everyone at Leicester Square. He asked, "Is this Ruben?" And my friend Trina said, "Yeah, it is." And then I was like, "Wow, he's into this as well." So he came to I think it was the Star, one of the Star, the Leicester Square one, and which is a really nice thing. You know, I haven't seen it over a decade, and now he's familiar with this, and he's out there spreading, and he had to go due to family issues, but he still came through. That's it.
Excuse me, Ruben, in the chat room, someone is asking, what's your channel, please?
Everybody equals mind control squared.
That's everybody equals mind control squared. Thanks, Ruben.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you. I met Terry for the first time.
Yes. Yeah, I was a lovely one. I got to go and see Ireland, which was amazing. People there. What an experience. Probably one of the most profound life experiences I'll ever have. But rather than reiterate, you know, in the sense of how obviously, you know, the experience and the journey, I feel I'd like to take a point time to emphasize why it's so important for me personally, because what I've discovered is in life, we never ever lead a life fulfilling life unless we know truth. So when people say, why does it matter? It matters because whilst the masses are going on believing we live on the spinning magical world with bendy water on it, they're living in a matrix, so to speak. our matrix of perception and lies, and they don't even know it. They're unaware of this, and this can have a very deep psychological effect. And on my own personal journey, what I've discovered is we'll never ever feel real love. You know, other than the selfish love, a real love for humanity, for everyone, until we know truth. And for me, this is the biggest linchpin of all the deceptions. This is why it's so important that we express to the masses. You'll never feel the way you can feel. And the journey I had meeting people and sharing truth with people in Ireland, there's no feeling like it. You know, I'm on a level with this. You know, as I'm sure you've all dabbled in some kind of drugs and too much alcohol in your life, and it's because we're kind of chasing some kind of feeling. And I think that's because we're lacking love. And only once you get out and you speak to people about truth, there's nothing more powerful and there's nothing more empowering. So along the similar lines to David, you know, we all must understand the true reason of what we're trying to do here. And we're trying to all find that feeling what we're all missing, which is love. And we all need to keep loving each other and express to people this is why it's so important. So in the name of love, you know, let's keep telling people that it is that. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I was on tour. I went to 6 locations on 5 days. It was thrilling. It was great. It was cold on the camper van. It was quite enthralling. Now, I had a couple of interesting days on the tour, and one thanks to Jason's filming and Robin's editing skills. Well, when I watched it, it made me emotional. I got to Oxford very late on the day. The traffic had been terrible on the M25, and I arrived on scene, and the guys are being mobbed by some fairly heavy-duty action. We could call them trolls, but. And I went up and stood in the center and next to this guy, and he started barracking me, and so the pressure just mounted. And within 2 minutes, I was just delivering one of the moments of my entire life of energy, pure passion for this subject, as I said earlier on, about the truth of who and what we are, and how if we reach in and discover what and who we are, we can set aside all of these systems that seems to have damaged the human system so badly. But for me to be on the road, to be out on tour with Harry and with Jason, it was truly an epic, historic, monumental, fantastic experience for me. My young son came on, spent the night on the camper van as well with my wife. So seeing the people out in the street is just the same as perhaps a little bit like Speaker's Corner, but perhaps there's a lot more people that are willing to kind of say, hey, you guys are nuts or crazy, or laugh that off. People at Speaker's Corner may not want to hear it, but they know that the government and the system and so on is corrupt, and there's something wrong that needs to be changed. We, my friends, are people who, now that we know that we're working on a level playing field, a stationary Earth, an infinite plane, electromagnetic toroid, of which each of us is some unique and indivisible part of it, then we know that we can do something completely different about how we take humanity forward for ourselves, but more importantly for the generations that are to come, that are to follow you, that are to follow in your karma. The karma that we hand down to our children is the karma that they must one day manage for themselves. I was helping somebody clear out their home today. Their father's dead, their dead father, deceased father's home. And the deceased father hadn't cleared out the stuff from the deceased mother who passed 12 years earlier. And it's just, it struck me that when the lady said, look, they've not done all of this, and now here I am standing in their garage having to sort out all their crap. Well, that's what humanity is doing at the moment, actually. Is we're sorting out all the crap that got handed to us by generations before. But to be fair, generations who've been made sick, who've been made dumb by a bunch of different reasons and systems and so on. And we, with the internet now, with this information age, with this, perhaps this rising of a new dawn of consciousness and energy and so on, we have that opportunity maybe now, finally, to change the course of the human story going forward. And when we look back perhaps one day, we will know that this tour that these guys set up, this tour was one of the key milestone moments when humanity really stopped and realized finally that they were the center of everything. Thank you very much.
I had a request from the lovely Anthony Riley over there, and I wanted to know whether on a better time constraint now, but we were at the beginning of the event. I want to let him take over from him. While he's doing that, I'm actually going to be in the background now setting up the international live link that we've got with everyone after. So I will hand it over to you.
Go for it, darling.
I'll be as quick as I can so I don't take anybody's time up. I've come down from Manchester, Liverpool way today. It took me 4 hours. I only found out about Roxanne's channel about 2-3 weeks ago. And I'll be honest, I don't enjoy being a flat earther. I get ridicule, I get scorn, I get vitriol, and that's just from people in flat earth. That's not even the borders. I've got ballers now saying to me things like, oh, well, okay, so the Earth might, so what? What you got me thinking? And I mean, I'm 38 now, and I did an undergrad degree in law back in 1999. I did a postgraduate diploma in legal practice and worked in law for some time whilst in my early working life. And I got bored with it. I decided I wanted to earn more money. I wanted to go self-employed, so I set up a couple of small businesses. I came to Flat Earth with more of an empirical, evidential perspective. I didn't really come to it with the usual perspective that people would come to Flat Earth at. I thought it was stupid. When I got into Flat Earth, I started looking at the so-called evidence that we get taught is the truth. And it dawned on me that the evidence is really, really crap. It's terrible. But this is what they tell us is true. And in my mind, I was playing through the routine, and this kind of looks a little bit like a courtroom. Imagine that you've got the prosecution, the case for the prosecution being that we live on a ball, and they present evidence like this. And I can just imagine the paperwork coming through. You've got your disclosure list, and you ask for inspection of the documents. And you get the nonsense that we get presented with is the truth. And you get to see that in the legal background, like in a room like this, and they've got to present their case. And I can imagine the judge standing there before everybody, giving his verdict, and it's ridiculous. Now, whether or not the judge comes to the obvious correct answer or not is a different matter.
Oh, hello.
What are you going to do about it?
What's going on in here?
Sorry, I'm coming.
So am I being quiet now?
Well, it depends on what the community thinks. So I'll go. Look, I'm quite happy to be here through the education system at a high level if people agree with me that it's worthwhile. And I didn't know whether it was or not because it's quite niche. Law is quite niche. So I did the GoFundMe request and I got the money in 6 days. Now I don't even have access to channels. I do engage with Nathan Oakley on the debate channel. If you've not been to that channel, do check it out. It's interesting. And I enjoy the back and forth because it's quasi-legal. It's kind of like, what's your best evidence? And then you get your response back and it's back and forth. It doesn't always go like that way, but ultimately it was. So the GoFundMe request went out, money got paid, and then I got onto this master's course, and it's a master's in law. And in this course, on this course, I have to write a dissertation at a master's level. I went in there without having any access to any of the legal databases, thinking and assuming that there would be a law somewhere that said that teachers have got to tell us the truth. I assumed that there would be something there that would be black and white, straightforward, enshrined in the English legal system that said teachers should be teaching us the truth. Facts, honest truth. I didn't find anything. I haven't completed my research yet. I'm about 80% of the way there. But the only legal statutory duty of care for anybody that's got any responsibility for the Secretary of State for Education and his interest in legal statutory duty is, and I quote, to promote education in England and Wales. What does that mean? Promote education. That's it. Doesn't say he's got to tell the truth. Doesn't say that the teachers have got to tell the truth. All it says is that he's got to promote education leader in the world. Well, we all know what the book means. Well, what does education mean?
Gucci dude.
It's the Bible.
It's like a huge
Law. What is education? Right? The question was, well, what is education in law? And I haven't found that out yet, but I am working on it. But it appears that nobody has got a legal responsibility in law to teach the truth. But everybody would naturally assume that when you send your child off to secondary education, that Mr. Johnson would stand on the pulpit that speaks very gently and he walks around with that authoritarian walk like that. You all assume that that guy's going to be teaching your kids the truth. You all naturally assume that the kids are in good hands. But then when you question it, like when you criticise it, challenge it, and look into it, it turns out that there might not actually be any lawful, legal, statutory duty to teach the truth. That concerns me a little bit, because whether it's flat or round and the debate side of it and the evidence for it, we've all been there, we all understand that the evidence is, it's not exactly strong, right? At the best of times, it's pretty weak. But is it actually lawful what we're being told? And it's, I can't put into words how much of a massive hole in our society it is if teachers are not expected to teach the so-called truth. Because we're all told that the sun is 93 million miles away. And in the national curriculum of 2017-18, which is the current one now, that 93 million miles is over. We all went to school and in total time, we were all taught that 93 million miles sun. But we all know that that's not true. How far away the sun is, but we know it's not quite as far away as what we're told. But it also doesn't seem to be illegal. It does not seem. Now, how quick are they to take parking charges off you? How quick are they to get you for speeding or seatbelts? Let's be honest, not the biggest crime. They take a lot of money off us really quickly and really easily. Everything's taxed, fuel, energy, you name it, you're always paying into the system. But is it legal that our children are taught pretty much anything? If it goes in that national curriculum, it's going to get taught. How much is actually true? And I don't know how much is true, but I know how much is not true. And we can focus on the points that are in the national curriculum to do with the solar system and the heliocentric model and what we're following from the not true. So why is it not illegal? I don't know why it's not illegal, but it should be illegal because we should get our kids to the and provide our argument, the evidence is not. You know what the law. But is it actually legal?
Go a little bit, okay?
So when I ask the question, what's it? Well, I don't know. So certainly, my intention is to put their papers. It is something that you can do. I have to be put in law and presumably the other parties to education system too. One of the legal right it shouldn't be the case of the law system. It is a fact that it is true. That you need to go on with your law. So what we want to ask you guys tonight is not to have you. We can find out on anything that tells us the teaching is judgment and the teaching is judgment. I don't know what living. The reason why I ask you that is so I can't hold you on the religious. I was second now I'm normal. Who says why are we being told it? And most importantly, why are we not being told that the media is not? Because we are told it's in fact that there's no more requirements that teachers then that tell them we must tell the truth. That's true. There's a flat one show me people tell the truth in school. You know, one thing they have to do, you test it. I don't know what somebody thinks about something that is Ellen says, oh, right, you know, that's not true. But no one is really accepting 50% of the evidence. So my question is, if anyone out there knows, anyone knows, finally find out what's going on with the responsibility. Because
Okay, guys, I don't know if you can hear me. We're just having a tiny little bit of a break just now. Everybody's able to go to the bathroom. We're about an hour or so into this so far, and it's going really well. We've created this event to celebrate the end of the Global Eye Tour. We've completed 8 weeks. We've done over 50 locations. We've definitely started a massive wave of awareness and getting people to question what they've been taught. I think anyone and everyone over in the UK is now talking about this. If we weren't talking about it before, then they're definitely going to rock now. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. This is the hall that we've hired out. Hold on, I'll just come out of the way of the projector so you can kind of see where we're at. A few people here. Ranty came down as well, so Ranty's here. Anthony Riley's here, that's who was just talking. We've got Adam from Iron Realm Media. We've got Ruben over there as well, Dave Munnell. Marilyn's here as well, Chris UK. There's quite a few people here. People have turned up. For the event, we've done the event for free. We've provided the food for free as well. And we've also got the press here as well. They're documenting on it. The Guardian, they're here filming it all, documenting it all. And everyone that's been here has had a really good opportunity to speak to the press as well, which has been nice. Ranty's had a good moment with them. Anthony has as well. And it's really positive to see that. So while I'm talking to you, I'm in one for a hot second because I think they were all bursting. We've had them in their seats since about 3:30 this afternoon. But so far, so good. How are you guys doing?
What's up, Daryl?
Lovely.
What's up?
Lovely.
Hey, Brandon, how's it going, man?
What's up?
What
Nothing much,
up?
man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too, man. I see it. All right. Yeah, I saw you out there doing some dangerous traveling, man.
Yeah, it was pretty wild stuff, man. It was pretty wild stuff, you know. I think people are gonna appreciate it though, man. Once we edit everything and
big time.
And yeah, people are gonna really like appreciate it and stuff, and you know, kind of showing the heart of a flat earther. You know, I think we all want to be out doing stuff like that. You know, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Bluetooth device is ready to.
Yeah, this is cool. It's cool the way that we're just kind of branching off, doing different things, different ways to express ourselves artistically.
Yep.
That's important because I mean, people just have this idea that we're like crazy. So
yeah.
us just showing ourselves to be regular people is really beneficial to something.
Yeah, and I think a lot of flat earthers use their strengths to where they're best at, you know, and where you say we all branch off. It's funny you said that, Daryl. I was actually thinking about that when I actually noticed you on the feed here. I was like, man, I haven't FaceTime with him in so long, bro. It's so good to see your face again, you know. But,
yeah, it's been a while, man.
Yeah, it has, it has. So, but yeah, it's actually a pretty cool story, man. I want to get that out there someday. How we kind of like were together before things happened, and then like boom, we both went off in these directions and stuff. And we used to we'd FaceTime once, twice a week. We'd schedule it and talk and stuff. And the next thing you know, you're doing your flight level experiment. And everything just took off, you know. So it's pretty cool.
It's crazy how this stuff happens, man. How's the radio show going?
Which one?
You still doing it?
No, I'll be back on it. I think they wanted me back on it this week, but I haven't been doing it, man, because it's just been way too busy. You know, I went from like kind of like hosting the radios to just kind of going on them as a guest and stuff, you know, so I don't really have time, you know, because I'm doing my own thing and stuff, as you know, so is what it is, you know.
So I'm saying the same thing kind of happened, man. I got really busy. A lot of people sending me links and stories, articles, things to talk about. And I'm like, it's too much to do, like a video, like every day, because, you know, I got my job, I got relationships to keep up with, and editing takes a while. I got into let me see, my job sent me to commercial driver school so I could get my Class B CDL. So that totally threw my schedule off because I had to study and all that. So I just ended up, you know, that's where I started doing that weekly wrap up with Vegan Warrior.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, we you know, we just finished the 9th episode last night. And, you know, throughout the week, man, so much stuff is going on. I just take the article, take the link, and I'll just compile that stuff and we'll just chat about it, you know, every Friday. So that's been pretty cool. That's been pretty successful.
Yeah, you get overloaded with stuff, though. I know what you're saying, man. Like with all the people sending you stuff, and it just becomes overwhelming. And you're like, all right, you got to stay your course, man, and just do what you can do. You know what I mean? You don't want to overdo it because you don't want to have to walk away from this. You know, you want to stick to your strong suits and stuff. So I hear what you're saying, man.
The problem is
absolutely.
We're back. We are back. So I wanted to bring you guys into the mix. I've had communications with you guys in the past, and I absolutely love what you're all doing individually. And I've got Richard Avery, who's there as 007. He's located off the west coast of Africa in Tenerife.
Oh,
and
all right.
Musician. Yeah. And every one of his gigs, he's there. He's just unmuted. Hello, 00. You all right, darling?
Awesome.
You hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Just about. You're really quiet, sweetheart.
Is that better?
No, not really.
I've been recording it
hang on.
P1000 as well. Should be a lot clearer than on the live streams if I upload it. So
my live stream quality is rubbish.
Yeah,
it's like not good. Up my game.
Was that better?
Yes, that's much better. Yes, the 00's on the west coast of Africa. He's in Tenerife. He's a musician. He flat smacks people in his own way as well. I got nothing but love and appreciation for you guys, man. You're all awesome individually. Love what you do.
Love you too, babe.
Big time. 00, have you met Brandon before? Or 00, Daryl? I think you have.
No.
Daryl.
No. New faces. New faces.
Oh, see, this is what I love. I love when people say new faces. I don't know these people. Well, allow me to introduce
bringing
Brandon.
people together.
Yeah. Brandon, that is Richard. Richard, Brandon. And Daryl, that is Richard. Richard, Daryl.
Let me turn my camera around so you can see me.
And
I'm Ranty, by the way.
Did I cheers?
Where's my camera's all jacked up. What's going on here?
I can see pretty good.
Sorry, it's probably my fault. The echoes. I've turned everything up, so I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, guys.
I'm turned down. So I'm going to turn my mic off.
Something's up. Like the camera on my phone is showing up crooked right now. This is crazy. What the heck? I feel. I'll hop off and come back. Hold on.
Right, darling. Okay. So as you guys can see, I've got the laptop on charge just now. We're actually in a high school. We've hired out the high school for the day, and we're in the main hall. We've got various bits and pieces. There's a lot of people outside smoking cigarettes, which is why those seats are empty. It's not that there's no one here. Let everyone go out for a quick puff and a quick toilet. And we're probably going to be here still for another hour. We've still got some bits and pieces to go through. The press are here as well, so we're going to have some Q&A. We're going to hopefully give everyone an opportunity to say their piece and say where they're at with the truth just now. Because I said, Brandon, you're doing big bits, bro. You're doing
Thank you.
bits. I'm like, I could not think to see the edit. Like, you got me sucked in, bro. Like, that is going to be my new piece of oxygen after the tours out. It's like I'm already building up his amount of content of his. So
You can binge watch it.
Who's this? Sorry.
Brandon.
I've seen a couple of, yeah. I have, yeah.
I just full respect to what you're doing, man. You're going to, well, from where I'm standing, some of the most dangerous places internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Yeah, it was it was quite the experience. I'm tired, to be honest with you. You know, it was 45 days of straight work. You know, people thinking I'm on vacation and stuff like that, but it was maybe 3 days where I got to relax while I was out there. You know, so.
Ready?
Hold on.
Sorry, guys. We're just dealing with tech issues while we're having the conversation. We're getting people saying we're on. Okay, you're about to be put up onto the big screen, and this conversation's about to get pumped. Yes, yeah, have indeed. Sorry, guys, give me 1 sec.
It's just a little bit cold.
I'm getting a bit chilly as well, but I don't have my puffer jacket back. I might get up and leave. In a minute, we'll leave them observing us here, but they're going to do us go through rubbish. So guys, to get around the technological difficulty, we've got Robin setting his up over there. I'm going to invite Robin into my hangout, but we can only get Robin's on the big screen. So that way, I'm going to talk to you through Robin's little square. Is that all right?
Let's see it.
Hopefully this is going to work. Roxanne's making it up as she goes along, but this laptop does not want to hook up to this screen here. I want you guys to actually be involved in the conversation like you are here, and see if we can get this whole international conversation going. Because like I said, however anybody's wrapping up this most important truth, I think it's all about embellishing everybody, supporting everybody, loving one another. And even if we can't agree on the narratives that we go down, at least we're agreeing on the fact that we've been lied to about where we've been living. You know, we know we're not living where we've been taught we've been living. Anything after that, I suppose, is up for conjecture. You ready?
I didn't get the email.
Oh, okay. No, read it. Can you just call it to me?
Before.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Can you
all right, no, let's do it again. Robin.
3108.
Yeah. Robin.
3108.
Is it not .co.uk?
No.
Sure.
100%.
15 minutes. Fingers crossed, guys. Can you read out Paul on the plane's email address to me, please? Sorry, just so I can. Sorry, guys.
Let's talk about a hospital pass. By the school.
Okay. Paul at. Right, so you can let them know that that's gone through now. And do you now just do that whole copy?
Yeah, you've got it there. Control C.
And then
Put
how
that
do
into Facebook
I
Messenger.
don't know how to use it.
Oh, right.
I've never used one before.
Okay. you got another tab with Facebook open?
Sorry guys, bear with us for this.
We're with you, don't worry.
Copied, can you just copy and paste it and put it into Robin's Facebook Messenger? Because it's not going, it's doing that weird thing on the email
Okay.
again.
So if we get into, okay, yeah. Oh, I see, because you're on that, right? Probably need some other page.
Should be anywhere near the sun. Right.
Can you pull up the tablet?
Yeah, but
Put on
you
the
just
future
wanted
of flat Earth.
Oh, yeah. So do it from there. This one. Oh, you want to get to yours? Sorry.
Just do that.
Yeah. No, you don't need that now.
Okay.
Close. Yeah.
Okay, we've got Random, we've got D-Marble, we've got
Hi, guys.
007. Paul on the plane should be with us soon. Paul on the other speaker. And yeah.
Don't tell me about it. I'm going
I just got
Hey,
We're not running out. No, we're not running out. We're all good.
We are unmuted.
Are we on yet?
We're on.
Who's that? That's Robin.
Hey, Paul.
Guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello from Dublin.
Hi in London. Where are they? Hi, Robin.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Coming up to meet all of us.
Who's that?
What's that?
Who's that guy?
I don't know.
Oh, hi, Marilyn.
What's up, D?
Hey, Maro.
How are
Hey.
you, G?
I'm good. What's going on out here? How are you?
What's going on, D Marvel? How you doing, brother?
Hey, just hanging out, you know. Wishing everyone a good weekend. Congratulations on the closing of this tour. That's awesome what they have going on out here.
Oh my gosh, it's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Absolutely unprecedented.
Hell yeah.
It's great. How many cities? 57 cities?
Yeah, over 50 for sure.
Oh, 53, something like that, 8 weeks. Absolutely unprecedented.
Yep.
How many people come out of this going, holy crap, the earth is flat?
Yeah, a lot. This is gonna be good.
Can't wait to see you in Denver, bro.
Hey, yeah, it's gonna be good. We're what, 11 days? Oh man.
It's too short.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Is that Ginger Sugar Bush?
I don't know.
Hey, Harry. Hi.
Hey, Harry.
Hey, everyone.
Cheers from Dublin.
Are they picking up now?
Yeah, so.
That's Roxanne Street there.
Oh, she's at the
There she is. She's at
Roxanne.
The,
Yeah. You can't see her.
Looks a bit chaotic there too, huh?
That's the way it's I can't make out anything she's saying. Can you?
No. Roxanne, I can't hear her. I can't hear her.
Nothing.
Can't hear me. Oh, now I can, yeah.
Check out my view, man. Check out my view.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we're good. She's muted herself, so.
Well, hello, Brendan Daly. I don't know if I've met you before.
I don't know if we have. Nice to meet you, though.
I've heard the name, and I've heard nothing but good things, so very good to see you, Brendan.
Thank you, man. Good to see you too, man. How's everything going?
Good. We got a good turnout. We got a good turnout with a very, very small bit of marketing. So I'm happy.
We had 16, 18 people here in Dublin for the first ever Ireland meetup.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Putting Ireland on the flat map. Hey, Adam. Hey, Adam.
Hi, Nora.
Hi, Adam.
Bro.
All good, man. All good. How you doing there, Brendan? You okay as well, mate?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Oh, hey there.
Hey, Anthony.
Cheers. Hey, where's Shane? Is Shane there too?
Is Ranty there?
Thank you so much for joining us. We've got Brendan Daly, we've got Dean Marble, we've got loads of them.
Terry. I can't hear.
We've got loads of press including on us and documenting what's going on as well. So could you give us a synopsis of how the meetup's gone in general for a person from Ireland? How's it gone?
Did you hear her?
I think she asked how the meetup is going so far, and it was a good turnout. We can hear you quite well, Roxanne. We got like about what, 16?
Yeah, I counted probably 16 to 18 people.
Yeah, 16 to 18 people, pushing 20 with the babies. Babies came, I like that. We got a good number of women.
That's good. That's really good.
Absolutely brilliant.
You got to keep those guys in line.
I don't know if this was the first official meetup in Ireland or not, but if it was, I think we kick-started it off in style. We had 16 to 20 people kind of coming in and out, and we all exchanged contact information, and we're making connections, we're building relationships, and we all agree on one thing: we don't live on a spinning, orbiting, corkscrewing space barrel.
That's not just fucking brilliant, that's fucking grand.
Well
said.
And
a question, if that's okay. Can you hear me okay?
No.
Can you talk a little bit closer? I'm sorry.
It's all breaking up.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
okay, mute this one for a second and let me see.
Maybe it's your...
Okay, Roxanne's going onto the other laptop now.
Okay.
You'll see her in a second.
It's a little bit better.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear you well.
Can you hear me now?
If I can hear you, make a movement to Dean Marble, then 007. Could you tell me how you perceive the thought that you just internationally, how has that been perceived?
Can somebody relay that question?
I could have swore I heard, can you hear me? That's all I got. I can hear you, Roxanne.
I can hear D Marble very well.
Yeah, I can hear D Marble very well.
Yeah.
But I can't hear Roxanne. That's really difficult.
So, fire away, any of you. How has this tour been perceived internationally? How have you perceived it?
For the people here.
Did you hear her?
She said, how was the tour perceived internationally? And I think that means here.
Oh, well, I can speak to that. That's, and those in America probably would echo this, but what we experienced from afar was absolutely unprecedented when it comes to, if you want to call it flat smacking, but it's just creating awareness. Like we've been talking about here all night is the planting of seeds, and you can't force somebody to look into this, but all you can do is get them, point them in the right direction, and that's what I think the tour accomplished was potentially thousands of people, at least hundreds, if not thousands of people over the course of 8 weeks were touched in some way. And now that those seeds have been planted, they're going to grow, and they're going to apply the water, and the soil is rich, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm just hoping that more people then are going to see the effectiveness of the tour and what it accomplished, and we start doing this on every continent on the plane, because it was absolutely unprecedented, and everybody that was involved deserves a hearty congratulations.
Yeah, I see it that a lot of the people in this bar where we're having the meetup have agreed with me that it was a push ahead for real education of the ordinary person on the street, to understand what it is to think critically for themselves. I think a lot of them saw that in it. Yeah.
All right, who's next? Is it me? No, this was definitely a huge thing. I mean, it brought so much awareness to the whole idea of teaching flat Earth across the plane. So many people that you've touched, going from these different locations. There was unexpected press popping up, and that just put more eyes on this whole situation. I can't congratulate you guys enough on everything that's taking place with this tour. It's huge. I definitely plan to shout out this tour and give you guys all kinds of kudos from the stage after the conference in a couple of weeks. I'm definitely going to put up some information. So it's been awesome.
Cool.
Fantastic. I'm putting up pictures. Might do a short video or something. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, in between speaking, Nora, if there's a way for you to
and I just missed the cue.
We'll be in touch. I'll be in touch.
You guys,
thank you for bringing the baby. We're saying goodbye to some people. Bye. Bye, baby. Bye, Ryan. Bye, Ryan. Aww.
Bless. Guys, if you can hear me, Brendan and Marvel,
yeah, just say hello, Nora. Oh, this is Laura. I'm Nora. This is Laura.
I can't really identify any
Flat Earth people.
Favorite flag.
Bye. Definitely stay in touch. Oh, please.
Yeah, I'll send the emails out there.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. This is wonderful. I think that I'm not the only Irish flat earther anymore. Great.
Absolutely brilliant. Brandon, Marble, can you give me your synopsis on the tour and how you're receiving this all awareness?
Well, I've been sharing the tour pretty good inside the groups and stuff like that, and the response that you guys have been getting has been absolutely amazing. People loving what you guys are doing. You don't see a lot. You see a lot of people out there doing stuff, but this is huge because the way I look at it is you're creating like a ripple effect, and that ripple effect is going to grow into, say you wake up 100 people on this tour, that 100 people turns into 1,000 people, which potentially turns into 1 million people, and then that's what it's all about. That's why I've always said that waking up one person is just as important as waking up 1 million people, because if you get that next Daryl Marble or that next Eric Dubé or that next, you know what I mean? If you get that next guy, how many people are they going to wake up, So that ripple effect that you guys are creating is absolutely amazing. So 2 thumbs up. And I couldn't thank you guys enough for the hard work you're putting in there, because as people that are out in the streets and doing the activism and making the videos and stuff, it's not easy. It's not. We all know that. Everybody here knows that this is not easy. It's taxing on our families, our personal lives, our friends, our family. We give up resources, money,
pride.
Pride.
Right.
we swallow it all, and the only return that we want is that people wake up, and then we get that next person out there that's awakened to life. Because I mean, there's no greater feeling than knowing that, you know, somebody can live their life in truth instead of being a lie. You know, if I did everything I've done and I only woke up one person, I'd still be just as happy because I saved that one person. You know,
Hell
so that's
yeah.
the way I view it. So.
Well said, my darling. Thank you so much. What about you, D Marvel?
Oh, absolutely. Same thing Brendan said, you know, the exponential growth that's going to be seen from this. I mean, I've been not fruitarian, we'll say about 80% fruitarian lately. But a couple weeks ago at work, I cut a cantaloupe in half. I open this thing up and I see so many seeds. In one cantaloupe, there are so many different seeds. And I'm thinking about all the different places that these seeds can be spread out. One person can plant so many seeds, and those seeds are just going to produce so much more. And what's happened with this tour, so many people are going to be affected by this. It's going to cause exponential growth over the next months, years, however. What's done here, this is unprecedented, it is huge. You guys are awesome. The whole team.
Yeah.
The whole team.
Totally mutual, man. Feelings mutual. I think those guys are just as awesome. So the love goes both ways, you know. I think the humility of that is a lot to be said for. I think the unifying and coming
No, the audio and Roxanne.
I know, it's too noisy. I love you all, okay? I feel love. Right? Thank you. I know we're going to end up guys, massive love for the time out to be here.
Okay.
I hope the rest of your meetup goes well. Brandon,
Thanks for having us on.
Keep it flat, man.
Are you doing the gig tonight?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations for the end of
Excellent
it.
work, you all. Congrats.
Yeah.
Massive respect for
It was brilliant. I'm still euphoric because of it, and I just went to like 4 cities. I'm still in the euphoria.
And listen, Nora, we've got a festive party for so
Sorry?
I'm going to be in touch with you. We've got a New Year's party to organise.
Oh yeah, I want to do that. Yes, yes.
Too.
I don't know where though. Maybe.
Here that want to do it too. So
Yeah, Tenerife is the best place. Yeah, let's go to the Mediterranean.
I'm going to cut the stream, but Brandon, D Marvel, 007, all on the plane, Nora, thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, thanks for having us.
Love you. Thank you.
Big love.
Take care.
Stay live. You guys can stay there.
Later, everybody. Everybody stay flat.
Take care.
Yeah, bye, D Marvel, bye. Bye, Brandon.
Love you guys. Be good.
Bye.
Stay
flat. Take care, my darlings. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
007, are you doing a gig tonight?
I am, but I'm not streaming it, babe.
You say what?
I am, but I'm not streaming it because I'm supposed to be working somewhere else.
Okay.
And I've called in sick to that one, so I can't really. If he sees me,
you're bunking one and going to the other. Well, look, if you're talking about, I'll give you a shout later on after I'm done with this, and maybe we'll have a little chit chat. Yeah.
Cool. All right, babe.
Mwah! Big hugs to you, my darling. Speak to you later.
Love. Keep it flat.
I'm still live. If you want to chill there, we're still live. We're not cutting the feed, just so all the audience know. You can still roll with us. We're not done yet. Yeah? Alrighty, my darlings. Mwah. So far, so good. Right, so we're rolling through now. We've got the gorgeous Cosmic Cat. She's come on stage. She's awake. She knows she's not on a ball. Yeah, flat attack. We're having a flat attack from Cosmic Cat. From the heart. Yeah, from the heart. So please stay tuned. In fact, you know what I might do, Cat? I might take it back down there again, you know. I prefer it down. I've had a drama getting the up there tonight. Okay. Okay, my darlings, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some poetry that we're going to get read out by somebody that knows they're not living on a spinning ball. She's been awake for a little while now. Cosmic Cat. Okay. I'm filming, yeah, filming. So, Cosmic Cat, my darling. While I'm awake, yeah. Well, that voice, I project it, okay?
Hi, I'm Cosmic Cat, and once you go from that, you can't possibly go back. Feet on solid ground, wires, internal map. We're all playing the game of life in this three-dimensional realm. Let love and curiosity take over the hijacked helm. The lies and illusions fall away. More meaning and wonder in each new day. Peeling back layers of corruption and deceit, spreading the truth to all that we meet. They think we're crackers because they trust what they're taught. Wish they'd come to their senses and let honesty be sought. It electrifies my soul to be free from delusion, to choose truth as our goal and fly free from confusion. Once you go flat, you cannot go back. It's an amazing adventure, so let's unify and let's show the world what the earth can't deny. After beginning in 2016 in March, after researching from the end of 2015, and I was so ecstatic and delighted and wanted to shout it from the rafters, but I realised suddenly that it was like on deaf ears and no one wanted to know. And I especially found that out on holiday with my family, and we were sitting in a restaurant on the beach in Bali, and I was pointing out the flat horizon, and my mum said, "Stop fucking insulting my intelligence," and I ran off up the beach, and the heavens opened, it poured down with rain, and there was a big storm, and I thought, oh, this isn't going to work. But I just feel that I have to come out and speak, because I'm a grandmother. This summer my daughter had a baby, and it's all about the future, as Dave was saying, future, old karma, future karma. And, you know, we have to just unify and speak the truth. We're compelled once you know. So keep it flat.
We've got another creator in the house tonight. Her name's Lisa. Some of you may already know her for her work. I know Ruben definitely knows her for her work, and I know a few of you as well. So Lisa, if you'd like to come up, my darling girl, show people what you've got. I was personally blown away by this lyricist this morning. I know from one lyricist in the audience to another, I know Cosmic Cat's going to appreciate this as much as I did. So project that voice.
This poem is the essence of flat earth. The misconception of the flat earth awakening is that it's merely about the shape of our turf and its faking. Wrong, it's about breaking it down to the basics, observing reality and discarding the fiction, then fitting each piece of the puzzle together, the sun and the moon and the tides and the weather. It's about carefully taking each fragment of data posing the question, is there a creator? Where did we come from? Where did it begin? Who are the ancients? And can we each look within? It's not about conforming or cognitive dissonance. It's closer to connecting to our childlike innocence and remembering the questions we pondered as kids that got pushed aside in a jar of tightened lids. It's not about misconstructions or meaningless numbers. It's about waking up to the magic and wonder. It's more about claiming the right to your soul and keeping your brain to yourself, feeling whole. It's about feeling and experiencing each fragment of time, and without interference, knowing that was divine. Then whatever they're hiding or try to conceal, the bigger picture we aim to reveal. But with the incision of critical thinking, as the truth stands to reason, even if it's thinking. Even if what we've been fed is baloney. Even if the system in place is phony. Even if we're shocked by the extent of the life, and we find we're not a rock in a vast vacuum sky. Even if our hypothesis comes to a dead end, we'll go back to the drawing board and start over again. It's about our community coming together and dumping this lunacy and freelancing forever. What is Flat Earth about in its true essence? It's about lifting the veil, even if it's unpleasant. It's about testing the boundaries, pushing the limits, then sharing your findings and questioning physics. It's about hidden knowledge and humanity's history, and discerning the fact from fiction on all of life's mysteries. It's about how we landed in this pile of mess, who we are really at our prime and our best. What is our absolute highest potential? We know we're not there yet, but our awakening is essential. It's the ultimate quiz where the waters are muddy, so we must grasp what is for our own self-discovery. It's about letting go under the sea in the nature, knowing inside every cell the green winters. It's about shedding the ego and cease being active, and knowing what the others think is not even a factor. It's about looking up to the sky, at the stars, and asking in the light of it all who we are. It's about connecting the dots and sitting in reflection, in awe in this micro-macrocosmic collection. It's about knowing you know virtue jack, knowledge minuscule, and going beyond the full sphere of ridicule. It's about knowing your knowledge is deeply inside of us, and that it's a paradox and our earth heart can guide us. It's about remembering the questions we had as mere youngsters and not being afraid to trip up on their blunders. It's about knowing that learning is about making mistakes, and when you dig deeper, not all which is fake. It can be about expression and our own creativity. It's about freedom of thought and reclaiming our liberties. It's about asking the most basic and fundamental questions and conjuring up some outlandish suggestions. It's about looking at the world with fresh eyes like a baby. I'm not giving two hoots has been called crazy. It's about breaking down and questioning assumptions and asking ourselves, are we at the right junction? It's about not feeling inferior to societal clubs. It's about being fearless and standing strong in your life. It's about freeing your mind to reach the inconceivable, then fine-tooth combing it to the point of the needle. It's about throwing mental constructs out the window, then asking, what the fuck do we know? But for many, it's too much. They have their minds blasted open. They're invested deep in this globular notion. And that's okay too, because one size don't fit all. And even if it oddly turns out to be a ball, as long as we're using our critical thinking, we'll be making progress and not faulty thinking. But if pilots and instructors are having their doubts, there must be something to question about. Intelligent people in scientific fields coming out clean and asking straight what's the deal. To start with, have more questions than answers. And that's okay too, we're conceptual dancers. We'll pick up the pieces after everything shattered and build it up again with what really matters. And stand tall in the midst of it all, fully present. This is Flatter in its purest essence.
But before we finish, the very last thing I'd like us to do is play out the evening with Terry strumming away with excellent guitar. Doing poems. We'll have Terry up for his. Yeah. I've got him.
David's head this. Right there. This is appropriately called Own Your Shit. Excuse my friend. So you found some words can fool some ears, and they've said right can avoid the tears. But if these words aren't said with heart, you might as well to a back start. You've been born into a world built on lies, so how could one not believe their eyes? Through that box or on that phone, they put their lives right in your home. You know you see it, you know it's true, but the claws are embedded too deep in you. So you laugh along and join their schemes in hope of glory and fulfillment of dreams. Up to this point, you're not to blame. You've been just a pawn in their deception game. But now's the time to own your shit, because unimaginable beasts are climbing up from their pit. Prophecy is there for us all to adhere. Such precious words we should all hold dear. But discard and soldier on, you might just get that far you want. The Lord himself has told us how to navigate through the troubles of now. He told some dudes to write it down. Cares for you for the planet youth now.
Oh, nice, they didn't.
Everyone chats in chat, right? Everyone's got a bad reputation. What place is it? It's your fault. So this is the flat air song, you'll all know it. Didn't even think of it. Kept playing it more and more, because it's quite appropriate thing to everything in that state line. Don't get carried. Got the words to change a nation, but you're biting your tongue. You spent a lifetime stuck in silence, afraid you'll say something wrong. If no one ever hears it, how we gonna learn your song? So come on, you got a heart of loud and light, so I let your voice be tamed. Baby, we're a little different. There's no need to be ashamed. You got the light to fight the shadow. Don't stop hiding it away. Come on. I want to sing. I want to shout. I want to scream till the words die out. So
all of the papers. I'm not afraid to read all about it, read all about it. Oh, 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 At night we're waking up the neighbors while we sing away the blues, making sure that we remember, yeah, 'cause we all matter too. If the truth is being forbidden, then we're breaking all the rules. So come on, come on, come on, let's get that TV and the radio to play our tune again. It's about time we got some airplay on our Virgin events. There's no need to be afraid. I will sing with you, my friend. So come on, come on. I wanna sing, I wanna shout, I wanna sing till the words dry out. So put it in all of papers. I'm not afraid to read all about it, read all about it. Oh, 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 Cause if you believe they put a man on the moon, a man on the moon. And if you believe he got something to makes up the truth.
And on that note, I think we're almost approaching the end of the event, and we're going to let you ride it out with us. I'm going to keep going live for as long as I possibly can. I think we're going to get Terry to do another track. I think he's going to get convinced to do just one. I think we've got him for one more. You guys enjoyed it so far. We definitely have. We've had a lot of testimonies today. Met loads of people that I've not met before. It's really encouraging. Look at you, coming all the way from Nottingham. I was only on a hangout with you last night. He did say when he got drunk he'd say it. He did. Famous last words when you were driving down in
Banging headaches.
Yeah.
I was on 2 bottles of wine last night.
I think after the first time he went, right, I'm just going to go get him a drink. He's reminded me of you. Love it. I love it. I've got a camera, filming a camera. Guys, that's Annie, Ranty, Adam, Meek in there, Jason. As I say, we're drawing the event to a close now, but I think we're going to find the pub with our name on it and go flat snap it for a minute. We have a soda and wine.
Very nice. I'm going to head. I'm heading back.
Oh, all the beers were on our
I'm taking medicine.
I want to eat 3. It's only 4 for me. It's 4 for me to get back to Manchester.
I've got family.
Okay, I'll give you 2. As soon as you get lost.
It's a journey because it's like there's roadworks the whole way, like 50, you go 50, it's crazy. Bloody 90.
Come on, let's go and get pissed.
We're leaving at bang on half past. If we don't leave at half past, it'll be half 7, half 8, half 9, half 10, half 11. Or I get home at half 12. That's going to be a long drive. Rock Nero.
Well worth it. Well worth it.
And put a load of stuff on it.
I know like how it works in like the individual do. Kind of should have an individual.
That sounds good to me.
We're not work.
At the tour do.
We're the same thing. Like,
Just remember that there are a lot of people both on the ball side and I don't want to really
what do they know they get?
They're supposed to be my family people, but it's not a ball. But what happens if I don't agree with you and I say I don't think that might be right, then all your mates then start attacking me for having a question.
You've been abused for weeks now by Holland, taking on Holland. It's finally admitted, actually. I mean, you just, that was in the summer. I was on holiday and that was still going. No one's doing
Their argument. You don't need to do